You need a clap from me?
Bill's clap. Ring it in, ring it in.
Ooh.
I'm the best clapper.
Welcome to Flirting with Friendship. Here today, as always, is my number one co-host, Bill Patrick. And we have a very, very special guest, an old friend, the one and only Mr. Damian Lazarus. How are you, Damian?
So nice to be here.
Welcome.
Loving this space.
Right? It's my parents' flat that we turned into a studio. It's very,
Retro.
Wayne's
Retro
World vibe, you know?
Love it.
Damian, you and I have actually a very funny story.
I'm sure we have a few.
We have many. In many ways, you are part of the reason I am here.
Yeah, not in a medical sense.
No, one would hope not. You know? No, but very funny. So, like, I'm like one of the first big agencies I signed to was for you when you discovered Jamie, me, art department. You were the ringleader in a way. Maybe one of the best A&Rs in the history of dance music.
Wow.
I would say.
That's a massive
or you're
compliment.
the best guy who can, find an angle.
Lucky
guy.
So, Damian Lazarus, an old friend and a pioneer of sorts in this music industry, in the dance music scene, with his label Crosstown Rebels, as well as his festivals Get Lost and Day Zero, and the Rebel Agency, which was an agency that I was signed to back in the day. He has been around, he has seen it all, and we're excited to talk to him.
But I want to even go back before that because Ed, our manager, pulled up a photo. So years ago when I first came to Europe and I kind of first started to figure this whole thing out. Just graduated high school. Matthew Deere was playing Sonar by night. I ended up going to Sonar, and on the way home I ended up being on the bus. On the bus, I'm like squeezed next to this guy, squeezed next to him face to face. He's like, hey, mate, you want to go to an after party? I was like, oh, that sounds really good. And we ended up at, which was your flat. Ed, who was also there, now my manager. And I turned up with Judy from Fabric on the front door because I had some hash. And they're like, bring the kid up. I was 18. I ended up basically crashing this after party at their house. And they stayed in the back room because there was a weird kid with dreadlocks in the living room the whole time.
See, I have to interrupt you here because you tell this story a lot, but it changes quite a bit.
It's the same. It's always the same.
Very
because I have slightly different recollection of this because I remember the preamble before you coming into the house. See, I remember basically from my perspective that we'd all been at another party and we were walking up the Ramblas towards the apartment that we'd rented. It was a big crew of us, including Judy.
Yeah, they came downstairs to get this guy.
I remember us coming down to get you. We were talking outside in the street for ages.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember talking.
I wasn't part of the let's hide from the weird dude gang.
Okay, Ed, how Ed says it.
He was.
Ed and Zoe stayed in the back.
I would never have hidden from you.
No. Even then with my long dreadlocks.
I saw your potential.
You're like, who is this crackers kid from the street coming from Detroit? 22 years later, we're sitting here talking to each other.
Do you remember the second time we crossed paths?
Oh, yeah, Sunday Adventure Club.
Well, yeah, it wasn't Sunday Adventure Club. It was the year before Sunday Adventure Club.
So Rich started this thing at some point called Sunday Adventure Club.
Well, all right, I'll tell the story. So I played at the Panorama Bar that night.
Yeah.
And I was with Zoe, and we decided we were going to go to check out Bar 25.
Yeah.
And it was a really hot morning. Didn't really go into the hut to see what was going on in there, but there was a sense that, like, the party, it wasn't, so it was either early or late, but it wasn't like... It was usually you'd find people milling about outside, but it was
wasn't
kind of
empty.
quiet.
Were you playing?
He's worried. Yeah, it wasn't empty.
It wasn't
That
empty.
wasn't the
I
point
remember
of
the party
story.
being quite good,
So,
from my recollection. But
No, so we're just sat outside. I've got my record box, and out of nowhere, Richie Hawtin arrives. But he comes in and he sees us and he sits down and he's like, "Oh, how was your night?" He said, "I've just played wherever. I've just played there." And he says, "I'm supposed to play now at Club Division Air, but I think I'd rather play here." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And he looks at me and he says, "Well, what are you doing? Do you fancy playing back to back with me?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is an interesting proposition."
this is peak Richie.
Peak Richie Hawtin. And Zoe was like digging me, going, "Yeah, I think you should say
like,
yes."
don't fuck
to
it
that
up.
vibe. So yeah, so I was like, "Yeah, sure." He goes, "Okay, I'll be back in 20 minutes." And he comes back 20 minutes later with his records.
Yeah.
And we walk together to the hut, and it's a bright day, so as you open the door, your eyes are blind, you can't really see what's going on.
People may not really remember, like a lot of people don't remember what Bar 25, it was like a cowboy saloon.
Yeah, and by the way, it wasn't empty inside.
Yeah, it was not empty inside. Yeah, thank you. It was really good.
It's like 10 people.
Yeah.
No, it was. So it turns out there was a happening party inside, and so we opened the door, and it's like blinded by the darkness, as you're coming in from the light, and we stand in the doorway there, and I just see some dude behind in the DJ booth with this asymmetric haircut.
Yeah, I had like a high, like fucking afro, like a fucking, what's like
Kid and Play style?
Kid and Play style. Exactly.
But slanted.
Yeah, it had like a little
Yeah.
little cut in it. Yeah.
I remember this.
You remember those days?
Yeah.
And
Deep V,
yeah, you look dope.
Blue blockers.
blue blockers on.
So I said to Richie, I was like, "What are we going to do with this dude?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Don't worry, it's just this kid, Seth Troxler." So he knew exactly who you were.
I've known Rich since I was a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was a kid from Detroit, and it was super funny. But I also come from the age where when the big guys want to play,
Yeah.
get off the fucking decks.
Yeah.
All right?
Well,
Don't.
you were so gracious because, I registered that when he said your name, I registered that we'd met,
Yeah.
a few years earlier.
Yeah.
But, I certainly didn't, know you or the venue well enough to, ask anybody to stop playing. So that was, Richie's going to deal with that.
Yeah, but also, like, I kind of feel like if you're an after party, okay, let's just bring this in to catch the kids up on actual proper DJ etiquette. DJ etiquette. Right there. If you're at an after party, you're supposed to be playing, right? And there are some, let's say, very popular DJs, famous DJs, if you will. At that point, the biggest DJs in the world. If they ask you to DJ, they're like, "Hey, excuse me, I kind of feel like playing some records." You know what you do? You say, "Sir, please, please grace us. Don't stand behind me waiting for your time to, when I'm fucking done, I'll let you know." Okay? I wish kids today, sometimes it's just like, what are you doing here? And am I the asshole? Maybe, but also we come from a different generation.
Yeah.
And how you make your way, I was very kind that day.
And it was a good job that you didn't want to play again because we played for 16 hours.
It's exactly, and it sticks with you.
Yeah.
And I went to Rich and I was like, "Okay, happy to give you your spot, but give me some money to buy some LSD." And then he gave me some cash, and then I went and dosed the entire party.
We had a bit of a competition on that day. We had the whole kind of stash in front of the mixer. There was like, right, we're double dropping now, and in about an hour we're triple dropping.
Oh.
Yeah.
16 hours later, they had the water cannon.
They were spraying the water through the windows
See, guys,
every hour.
This whole thing used to be so fucking rock and roll.
Yeah.
It was so fun and free back in then.
It was. No cameras.
I remember one time walking into Bar 25, and I had just woken up. I just got off a flight. Sean Reeves had taken me there, and I walk in, and this girl was getting fisted, like fucking wrist deep, middle of the dance floor. Everyone was dancing like sprockets, like da-da-da, like nothing's happening. And I was like, "Yo, does anyone see this bitch getting fisted? Like, am I crazy?" And Sean's like, "Oh, just don't worry about it. Just go." And I was like, today, it would be a whole thing. Back in those days, you just had those type of parties, and it was just like, yeah, fucking relax. How about you get in the vibe instead of trying to ruin? Don't yuck someone else's yum, you know? But it's funny. So during those days, actually, before I think I signed, I remember you guys had come to see me DJ, to clock me. Like, okay, maybe this guy is good. And you guys got there, and I played 2 records, threw up, and fainted in the DJ booth. And then they're like, "This is the guy."
Yeah, well,
They're
I
like,
was sold.
I am sold. And I was like, man, maybe I fucked it up. They're like, "Yo, we came to see you. It was great." I'm like, "I didn't play." They're like, "Exactly, it was perfect." You know, this is the type of go-getter that we're looking for at the Crosstown Establishment Corporation. You know, they're like, "You were gonna move right up to the top with this type of attitude." You know, and I was like, "This is a corporation I can sign my life with." You know, like I was like, I was 23, 22.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, this is the vibe right here." You know.
Yeah, we'd set everything up nicely for you in London. So by the time you dropped in, they were
It was
everyone
ready for
you.
me. It was ready for me,
Yeah,
you know?
Jamie's house in Dalston.
Oh my God! Wow.
Remember that shit? Well, that was like pretty much every weekend.
Every weekend.
And we'd end up there.
Yeah.
You'd fly back in to London and go directly
To
her
Jamie's
as well.
house.
And that would throw down till Tuesday.
Exactly. That's how we all became good DJs, is playing at our friend's house, right? You know, it's not like going out here and making your way. You make your way playing in basements and at house parties, right?
But so many tunes were made during those after parties as well, because, you know, at some point, like Kenny Glasgow would go upstairs with Jamie to the studio.
I remember, you know, there's like the weekly newspaper magazine,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
kind of like a local weekly mag that they have in many cities. And they had a article about living your best life, right? And I ripped it out of this newspaper and put it in my wallet. I was like, "Oh, this is some good words for later." And we were super crackers. Started, you know, we're hanging out, and they're like, "Oh, let's do this song." We started making this song, and they're like, "Oh, we need some lyrics." And I was like, "Ta-ta-ta, here we go from the newspaper today, boys. read them and weep. Here we go." And that's how these songs happen. So
Yeah.
many people think that moment was like this calculated movement, but it was just us hanging out.
Yeah, but that's bringing it back to the title of your podcast. It was, you know, what was
Friendship.
beautiful about it is that it was friendships, and I think one of my skills at that time was basically finding people that could slot in really
to the crew.
beautifully to the rest of the puzzle, you know. And so
That's such a great way to look at it like that. It wasn't the musical ear. It was the identification of friendship.
absolutely
And like shared values,
Yeah.
which was being crackers.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like,
But
are you an
we kind
all-star?
of like we helped various little pockets of scenes around the world, like,
100%.
grow, and then brought those people into
together.
the bigger picture, right? And basically formed a scene.
I never heard it better presented in that way, because we were these small pockets, and you really did orchestrate in a way from Anthony and everybody, and you're like bringing everyone together.
The
you know,
culprit crew in
the
LA.
Everyone. You brought everyone together.
Wolf and Lamb, of course.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. The Wolf and Lamb group.
signing Denise to Crosstown.
The whole,
adding that.
the mastermind. If you had a DJ name, it could be Damian the Mastermind Lazarus.
The Mastermind.
You like that one?
No, thanks.
No, no.
No,
I
no.
cannot.
No, we just stick
Wasn't
to-
the Mastermind a villain with a big bald head? Isn't that like a? Isn't
Is that a
movie?
Marvel character you made
Pull
up?
that one up on the
I know.
screen.
Yeah, no. I think in one of these Pixar movies.
Oh, you're thinking
Oh,
of
yeah. I know you're
we all
thinking
got
of.
kids on this couch.
Yeah.
You know, he's like little
Mega
Mind. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Well, I can promise you that none of that was orchestrated or previously, mapped out.
The thing is, once you're in a moment, you don't realize you're in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
Had we actually probably been a bit wiser about it and listened to you, it would have been a bigger movement. Because we all got like,
But I think there were some points along the way where we as a crew, we were having so much fun. And let's be honest, there was a lot of drugs going on. You know,
people died.
And there was some
People did die.
psychosis going on. And midweek was always a little bit walking on eggshells around
Tuesday,
people because there was all
Wednesday.
this psychosis. Someone said this or that. This happened at the weekend, or I heard you said this about whatever. And it was basically just like nonsense drug talk and people getting a bit confused. But we were essentially experimenting. But the music that we were all into was so trippy and psychedelic. It made sense. And
It made so much sense. That time was so inspiring musically, right?
Yeah.
There were so many people making interesting music and all making their own music. And now we're in a phase where everything's kind of become so homogenous, right? And it's like people just copying each other and not inventing new stuff.
Yeah.
There's a terrifying creativity.
Yeah.
And the shelves are getting slim, kids.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be an old grumpy man, but like a little bit of spunk.
I think that, when we compare what it was like for us coming up at that time and to what it is now, it's really different. I'm looking around for young up-and-coming talent. I'm calling them or meeting them, and I'm like trying to suss out what their scene and their world is like, hoping that they're going to say, well, yeah, there's like, we've got a whole crew, and there's this one that's like doing this style, and this one's doing this style.
No.
Ain't happening.
Yeah.
Ain't happening. Most people are out there on their own doing their thing, but very few people, as I can make out, in this world of music are really thinking outside the box right now.
That era of DJing, I consider to be the golden age of creativity, DJing, and community. Like the crews that we had, the friends that we had that inspired each other musically, creatively, like coming to Berlin and having like the North American contingent of going to CDV and being inspired by the DJs. Also, you and I have a long history. I was on your agency as
days.
well. And from back in the day. And just like, I think there was less ego somehow. Like everyone was open to being like inspired by music. We would come to Circo Loco, play and hear music and be like, oh my God.
This is fucking dope.
This is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
It was like, it's like we were hearing music for the first time.
But it was a lot of music for the first time. All that stuff was being invented,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Like it was like, wow, I never heard something like this. And I think that's like a big thing. Like you used to go out to hear music you never
Circo
heard.
Loco would open at 6 a.m.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wasn't around for those
We
days.
would be there
Yeah.
at 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
At the door.
Straight from space.
Yeah, and for me, the thing was, I'm staying from beginning to end. I'd have to play at some point during the day, but I would be there from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm going to listen to everyone. We're going to hang out as a crew.
Yes.
We're going to have the best laugh. And it was, I'm not saying it isn't now, but it's different,
It's different, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I show up 1 hour before and I leave right after. I'm like, fuck these people. No.
Every now and then there's a Instagram page that I think it's called London Rider or something. He posts these photos, and it's of Circo Loco back in the day, and it's like you and me on the dance floor, Mr. C.
One eye over there, one eye over there.
Yeah, exactly.
But do you think like the experimentation, if you look at all the great times, there was this experimental drug, sex, like wildness thing, And I know both of you guys are now sober. I dabble in sobriety.
Dabble in sobriety.
I dabble in sobriety in and out. I'm trying, but do you think and I know a lot of the Gen Z kids, they're like totally sober, and drinking and going out less, doing all these things less. Do you think that experimentation is linked to that? Not saying not that creativity, but that kind of, that spawning of new ideas. Like, or do you find yourself less engaged now that you're sober?
Well, I'm only a year into sobriety.
You guys are both a year in, right?
Oh, yeah.
This month, May.
I've seen him get weirder.
Really?
Yeah.
During my drug time.
No. Now you're weirder.
Sober, I'm weirder. Yeah, impressive.
You don't agree with that, Bill?
I think I'm more boring.
I mean, as soon as we put a wig on you, I was like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been.
And the lion has come back.
Yeah, anytime there's a
Roaring.
chance to put on a wig and have hair.
For me, I think I was just becoming more boring, staying in the the world of partying, staying up for days.
It does drain your creativity, I find. I think like experimentation works to a point, and then you hit it like addiction, and then it takes like 15, 20 years to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And you keep chasing this point of the fun times from the experimentation period where it's like you don't have hangovers. You're like, this is great. You're like getting laid all the time. You're having all this stuff, you're like, but then it's like those memories translate over, 20 years, and then it stops being about the experimentation and the fun bit.
It just becomes your norm.
This becomes the norm and the gear bit,
Yeah.
And that's the kind of hard thing. So, like,
I think that experimentation is still a viable prospect with, when it comes to taking drugs and stuff, And I say that from our personal experience. I think that when we all started to experiment with ketamine, it really expanded our minds musically.
For me, acid more, but yeah.
Okay. So personally, for me, ketamine really just like opened channels that I started to hear music in a different way.
Yeah.
I heard music in colours and different levels, and that really inspired the way that I would play music in clubs.
I completely agree with you, because myself, even when I play a lot of my shows totally sober, but you get in your mind trying to recreate this kind of mental state or this kind of place that you had been, right, where it was totally different, like hearing things sometimes on drugs or whatever, you're just like, right, you see and hear it totally differently, where it's like sometimes I hear stuff and I'm like, this would be way too much if I was on drugs, right? I'm like, this is like abrasive, because there's also a level of like annoyance. I think if you're a bit high, you like don't want to be annoyed by things. For me personally,
You're sensitive.
a little bit sensitive,
The trick is you have to, when it happens to you and you're having that experience, you have to really remember it, because if you try to attempt to recreate it by taking drugs in the studio while making music, it's an absolute disaster.
It doesn't work.
Right? You're going to sit there for like 2 hours thinking you made you've reinvented the wheel musically, and then 16 hours later, you can't remember what the original idea was, and everything
or it's like
sounds
you're just
awful.
in this thing, and then you listen to it sober, and you're like, wow, like we worked on that for fucking so many hours thinking it was dope, and it's just not,
Yeah.
Honestly, this is what happened with my latest album.
You did it on drugs, and then you listened to it after, and it sucked?
Over the course of 2 years, I was like still, usual Lazarus for the first year of that, and I was like in the studio making all these songs. Thought that I had some great ideas, but couldn't quite connect them all together. And then basically after a year, got sober and then went back into the studio, listened to it, and most of it was shit. But I'd had this newfound clarity, and very quickly I started to really reprocess everything, and was able to turn it around. But I was facing a year's work where I couldn't really make sense of much of it.
It's like a serious dilemma, right?
Yeah.
Like a life dilemma, a mental dilemma, to recalibrate your life. But that clarity shift is something I find very profound after years of being in it and then coming out. And it feels like almost the same type of mind expanding scenario, right?
No, it is.
The opposite way. You're like, wow.
You really notice things.
Yeah.
Like now when I'm DJing, like a year into sobriety, I have this newfound sense of clarity in the club, which I think my channels were always open to what's going on around me before, but actually in quite self-indulgent way. I think musically I was more kind of into myself and thinking about what I want to hear, what I want to do next, and now I'm a lot more alert to the shift in direction or energy in the room. I can react to that much quicker, and happy to actually, because I'm realizing that
it's about them.
It's about them.
Yeah.
Well, it's about the connection with them.
100%. Yeah.
And trying to connect musically, but it's tricky right now because I'm not feeling that people out there really want to hear experimental music in clubs. You know, that's really a thing for me at the moment.
I think for all of us, you know, it's not experimental music time.
We used to play so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Out there.
Man,
Kill yourself. Kill your that famous.
Exactly, you know. I mean, that's why I love playing Circle Loco so much, because it was like, you know, my spot closing the main room was
we were always opposites, right? Forever.
Yeah, it's one of the toughest spots because I'm always up against you next door.
It's keeping people.
People want to be in the terrace. There's the vibe, and it's like, or you're in the weird room in the dark, you know, which is like what. But I love it, right? And it was my place to always, you know, go that little bit extra weird, try out the strangest, craziest ideas. And it would work, you know, somehow.
Yeah.
Well, at least I thought it was working, but
it was working.
It was.
But nowadays,
Yeah.
the drug use has shifted. I think that is one part of it.
Because if you've been out on one, you're more open to get weird at the end of the night. But if you're only going out for one night, you've been drinking, you and your friends, you know, you're just kind of there for the energy rather than the music experience in some way. You know?
And that's
attention
the weirdest
span
thing to hear, right? Because anyone watching this thing, hearing that you know that most people are going out to the club not for the music.
Yeah.
You know, it's
kind of a weird thing to say, right?
It's a weird thing to say. Yeah.
But do you think people are going out to clubs for the music?
Well, this is the point, I think, that I'm not really feeling that, and I want to feel that more. It feels like a festival goes on sale, or a club announces their lineups, and it's almost like we got to get there. We got to get the tickets for that. But it's like, where's the people that are going, I'm only going to places to hear something new, something different, something that's going to change my way of looking at the world.
I mean, those parties still do exist in our culture. You know what I'm saying? Like Robert Johnson's Panorama bars. You know, there's a lot of under different scenes going on.
100%.
Slap funk things. You know, there's like, it's like the famous Prince kind of quote, you get the crowd that you deserve, right? That Prince said that once. And I found different points in my career up and down where I'm like, you know, you do get some parties and you're like, why the fuck am I here?
Mm-hmm. All right, I gotta jump in here. I get what they're saying. That room for risk, the true experimentation, it feels smaller now. But I don't think those spaces disappeared. They just shifted. There are still parties, festivals. I went to one this summer, Sustained Release here in New York, for example, where people come specifically for the music, the weird and the unexpected, the left of center sounds. So it's not that the crowds don't want it anymore. It's that when you reach a certain level, the clubs and the festivals you play at change. And I think that's what Damian and Seth are talking about. It's kind of a trade-off that comes with success. The underground didn't vanish. It's always going to be there. It just moved somewhere else. Still alive and thriving for anyone who goes looking for it.
I don't even know why they booked me. You know, like, then you go into your mind and you're like, really, like, that's doubt.
Are you having these thoughts while you're playing?
Yeah. I've been there many times, yeah.
What do you think about these days when you're playing?
Most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, it's good.
Positive thoughts.
Positive thoughts, positive crowds. But I've kind of moved into also playing a bit more because some bottle stuff. You know, I got kids, I got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, yo, here we go. And then you're like, you know, you feel like you're a karaoke or like a radio DJ, like just playing vocal stuff that people want to hear. And you're like, fuck, this is spring break, basically, playing Rocket Man and like all these things that people could sing along to. It's like open format vibes almost, right? Like in those situations, you really do start to doubt. You're like, yeah, well, I've been doing this forever.
And this is where it's at.
This is where we're at. But then you know, you top it up with like having a really good show at Robert Johnson
balance,
and,
right?
you know, Blitz and these other great clubs around the world where it's real. And you're like, yeah.
Maybe,
I still got
maybe
it.
this is our own fault. Maybe it's down to people like us to be, you know, reinventing the wheel again. You know, maybe it's like, you know, if we're not being excited by the lack of it happening, maybe it's down to us to...
It really is, I think, you know, because like with the kind of mass expansion of, let's say, dance music, and now people are catching up more and more because you went from EDM to now everything being kind of similar. But now those kids who were at that old big point are now into kind of what we do, and they're looking for more and more. You know, if you look at the New York club scene and all these things, Like John Aquaviva was in here recently, and he was saying that we've reached peak spectacle.
Yeah.
You know, like 80s rock. You know, but after 80s rock was 90s alternative, right? So I think there is a space for a new alternative movement. I mean, for you, how does it see? Because you were one of the first people in Tulum, right? Like I remember when we went together with Philip.
Yeah.
I think you did the first party ever in Tulum.
Yeah.
Remember that when it was raining out?
I do indeed.
No, there was no power. Like it was like, and now to see go from that where it was like this really great new thing, you know.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, this thing is one of the things that I'm most proud of in everything I've done. You know,
Day Zero.
Day Zero.
Yeah.
Because we've really managed to maintain something very, very special.
So unique.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of it. But I think that's partly, well, mainly to do with the fact that in the same way that I've been very lucky and fortunate to help find people like yourselves and like put like-minded people in a room together, I've managed to do that with my team.
100%. You've always built a culture. Like everywhere you go, there's always this, not fans, but old friends that are surrounded by you from the dinners. I'd be out there alone. This guy's got 10, 15 people. You always host these dinners, these people, and you've managed to always keep everyone together, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a great strength of yours.
This may be why I've kind of started to lose my own way in recent years, because I have very little time for myself. So when I'm traveling, I'm always around people. I'm like, you know, non-stop was either like work during the day and then socializing because I'm, you know, very lucky to have great people around everywhere. And so it's difficult to take a breath for myself.
It's draining, right?
It's draining, you know.
It's draining to be on all the time for 30 years.
Exactly. And, you know, I want to be the best, you know, partner and parent to my family as well. So it's like a constant mission to, you know, stay fresh for everybody. And and then suddenly realize, well, you know, what's going on with you?
And I guess it's also with sobriety, that awakening moment really comes. You know, I've had it. We all have that kind of like, fuck, what's my life today, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest thing to keep going, you know? Like, it's so easy to go up and do your career for a little bit, but to stay.
And this is why Day Zero is so instrumental in everything that I do, is because I started it as a way to start the new year,
Bring people together,
the best people from all over the world, and but both artists and the
party
audience,
people, yeah.
And we connect together, we gather together, and you know, celebrate life and the best music, and you know, together. And somehow we've managed to maintain that, and that's
how many years has it been going on? 12 years.
Yeah,
seems so much longer. It really does.
13 actually. 13. Well, we started it the end of 2012, December 2012. So.
Get Lost is another iconic party of yours, which I have. Miami every year. Get Lost. That's been going on. This year you didn't do it, but...
Yeah, well, I haven't done it for a couple of years. Now, Get Lost, I started in 2005,
That's the thing. We were kind of Get Lost era.
Get Lost, yeah. WMC and...
But that was back in the old era where it was like, there needed to be a proper European-style morning party.
Yeah.
Right?
That was the idea.
Yeah. Like we had Old Miami, you guys had Get Lost.
Yeah.
And it was like this kind of, like... Once you're already sketch, come join us.
Yeah.
Well,
you know? Come join the freaks.
Party, well, that was the thing, because I was going to WMC in Miami, and I was realizing that there was no real after parties. You know, so like I was like, I want to start a party that's literally just for the crew, small, but we're going to open at 5 a.m. We're going to play the weirdest music. We're going to get fucked up together, have a laugh together. And, you know, it would be our spot, and it would be the gathering of all the crews.
All the freaks, all the friends.
And that's how Get Lost started. But then, after many years, we grew it to a 24-hour, 7-stage, 100+ artists.
Headache.
And it just kind of got, you know, a bit from where it began to where it got to, I was just like, okay, I'm going to pull back on this now, I think, because like it was never the intention for Get Lost to become a festival.
Yeah.
Right? It was an after-hours spot.
I think the main issue I find is that there's no longer a separation between club and after hours.
Church and state.
Yeah, the after hours is where you played and discovered that music that was trippy and weird and inspired so many of us. And now it's just you go from the club to the
more
after
club
party,
music.
and it's more club,
It's
the same club music you heard at the club, and it's not pushing it. And like that's why you don't have these parties.
I definitely miss those days of us like just sitting around in an after party on the sofa playing the music, you know,
From the sofa.
yeah, from the sofa.
That was the whole thing, like setting up the decks right here,
Exactly.
sitting there all day.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you remember back in the day, like the Cocoon after hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sven would come later, right? So it was the time for whoever was around to maybe get an hour or
Whoever
two to
was the
play.
opening DJ, you know, at the night
so you'd
before.
have like Adam Bayer, Marco Corolla.
Young guys like me opening.
Yeah. And then people, they'd be sitting like behind the booth, everyone just kind of hanging out, and they, you know, and it was like, oh, and then someone would get on.
Yeah.
And then,
Play a bit.
yeah, but it was all the other DJs hanging around, listening and
Hanging out with each other.
enjoying. And that you don't really see so much of that these days.
Yeah.
And inspiring each other, right?
And when was the last time you heard a DJ that inspired you musically?
Sven last year at the Time Warp Afterwards was fucking phenomenal.
No, he's incredible.
But like young kids, it's maybe I'm not, but it's also we're not out like we used to be, right? So it's hard to really judge. Like,
I had Kinahau play with me, you know, Sebastian.
so you always know the new stuff that's happening. I'm completely
As an
oblivious.
A&R, you have to.
Yeah, you got like you know all the new kids.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well, you know, but that's my thing. I want to, you know,
new music.
continually be inspired. So I'm looking for it. I'm listening around. But this kid, Kinahau, Sebastian, I mean, it's not the finished product yet, but I can see in him someone that's really trying to do something different. The way that he's technically experimenting while he's playing, you can feel that there's no plan.
No plan is the best plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So I was impressed with him the other night, and it doesn't always get on the mark with the crowd, but it's like that's what I want to see. I want to see people trying new shit and not being safe.
Yeah,
Because there's too many people just playing safe. Right?
so safe.
The thing is that the scene is, I think, like dissected into so many different factions, and it's like you have so much going on. I mean, your scene and where you play in your circuit, it's just like it's
thousands of people.
It's the biggest circuit, but I mean, there's so much other. There are underground parties, like you mentioned.
Oh,
there
so
are
many. So many
people that
people
are trying,
experimenting, you know.
experimenting. It's just not getting showcased I mean, it's underground, I guess.
Yeah.
And at some point, maybe a DJ like Obi and Tomas that get an opportunity to play like Circo Loco and play a little bit more, like you said, not so safe. And that's what we're looking for.
But also, there's a balance between being cool and rocking the party.
It's the same with running the record label, you know. It's like like you said, I'm constantly looking for up and coming, inspiring, experimental kids. But like then you need an audience
if it
to buy
sells
it.
20 records,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's like
Yeah.
no matter how cool we may think it is, there is
Yeah.
like some type of like give and take there. I mean, one of the biggest things that's kind of like helped my career in a way is like post-COVID, and actually more so after having kids, I was like, fuck trying to be cool. You know, because you end up old with a drug habit, impressing a bunch of other people with drug habits, and then you're broke, and you're like, oh, but I was like, I kept it real. And it's like, did you really keep it real? You know, is that keeping it? What is keeping it real? Like, it's like your job is, number one, to present music to people, but people pay money to have a great night, you know? And nothing drives me more crazy than like a DJ who's so self-obsessed that completely ignores the response of the night and doesn't see that shift of being like, hey, is this popping or not, you know? Because if I have a bad night and the crowd isn't really there, I feel really bad afterwards.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you have 2-3 bad nights in a row, it's like a sports player not scoring goals.
Yeah.
You're like, shit, I'm over.
I'm in a slump.
Yeah, I'm in a slump. I
Yeah.
gotta change my underwear or something. You know, it's like a whole thing.
And I'm starting to wonder if, like, you know, festivals and clubs should like start creating more experimental areas that are specifically designed.
Yeah.
You know,
Always had that little side room that plays.
Maybe I should start thinking on that one.
Craig Rich has had a great. I remember we did.
He's done great with Houghton, you know.
He's doing great. But he had a great. I spoke to him back in like 2016. I had a residency at Pasha, and we were booking like Nathan Fake and Fortet, and those nights were a little bit like slow. They weren't selling tables, and Pasha was like frustrated. And Craig was like, you know, this island is like people save all year to come for a couple of days, and it's so expensive here. And it's like, you know, they really are like working hard to get a vacation here. This is not the place to educate. This is, you educate in London, New York, Berlin, but Ibiza, people come, they maybe have 2 nights out, they want to know what they're getting. If you play Nathan Fake and Fortet and they're playing like obscure experimental
weird time
people are like, I just dropped like 200 euros on, you know, and they want to, and he's like, that's why some of the residencies that you see, they know musically what they're getting.
I even Fortet, look at him. Once he said "fuck cool,"
yeah, Skrillex,
that motherfucker started getting paid. He was like, "I did this cool shit forever."
Yeah,
you guys want some rhythm tracks? Bang, bam! You know, here we go. Here goes Taylor Swift, motherfuckers. You know, but it's like that understanding, you know, that like at some point it's about being experimental, but like opening it up to the point where it's like, yo, that's fucking, you know, give the kids what they want, you know, really.
It's about balance, isn't it?
Balance, yeah.
So, Damian, we're going on and on about these. I feel like we're these old grumpy guys. What is exciting you? What's exciting to Damian Lazarus right now? What's next, brother?
What's next?
What's next?
Oh, man.
You said you got the album coming.
Album's out.
Album's out. Well,
yeah.
I did my research.
Yeah.
I am a great friend because I have not listened to it. I'm sorry.
It's been noted.
We have the same manager, and I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Right? We're gonna have to talk to
Ed.
Someone's not doing their job properly.
Yeah.
So that's out. I'm involved in this mushroom project right now.
Like psychedelic mushrooms or normal or just
psychedelic mushrooms, yeah. So Floor, my dear friend who passed away this time last year, I wasn't able to make it to her memorial, and so I made this like hour mix to be played at the memorial service.
Yeah.
She was a psychonaut of the highest order, you know, involved in looking into the world of psychedelics and for medical use. And as a result of doing this thing, I got approached by this guy who's a doctor, and he's responsible for the first official psilocybin medical trials in the UK, funded by the government. And we've been talking about what does a 7-hour mushroom trip look like.
darkness.
So I'm starting to work on that right now.
Are you looking at like the sound?
So I'm looking at the sound and how it relates to emotion,
people's journeys and
emotion and memory and humanity. And I'm starting to talk to scientists and neurologists and musicians, and trying to figure out how to create, I guess, you know, the perfect soundtrack.
Perfect trip.
Yeah. To the perfect trip. Yeah. So,
I have to say, it's kind of a lifelong search, this project. You know?
It is, yeah.
In a way. It's like the culmination of years of research. You're like, wow, I could do this for the government now? It's kind of a dream project.
Well, look, it's a dream project for me because it's working all the elements of me that I love dearly. You know, psychedelics, music, helping people, research, development,
R&D,
collaboration,
you know, friendship,
friendship, exactly, and so that's exciting me at the minute. Yeah,
amazing.
Well, you know, I think the whole wellness, holistic change that we're going through is an interesting one.
It's a big topic right now. I mean, we were talking about the blood. You did the blood thing yet?
No, what's that?
In Berlin, the blood cleaning.
The what thing?
The blood cleaning.
Oh, the blood thing. Sorry. I thought you said the bread thing.
No. Off
Injecting bread in his arm now.
Off gluten like the rest of us.
Yeah. You told me that it was you lost a bunch of weight from doing it.
Did you do it?
Well, I spoke to your doctor, and she said, no, you don't lose weight from the blood thing.
Inflammation. It was bloating.
Okay.
It wasn't weight. No, it was
I didn't want to change the blood. I just wanted to lose some weight.
Yeah, no. But the inflammation weighed out. Because we're getting older.
I want to hang out with my kids for as long as fucking possible, man. Like, you know, so, and I realised that if I carried on the way I was going, it wasn't looking so good.
I think we're all in a space that we kind of reached that era of, you know, starting to look after ourselves, you know? And it's great that the wellness space now and the nightlife space are kind of combining themselves, right? It's kind of funny how the two have now merged.
Totally. Well, I'm in pursuit of, you know, new mind-expanding interests. Tarot's interested me at the moment.
Like tarot cards?
Tarot reading, yeah.
Not like, I thought you were talking about like the mochi balls that come into boba tea. You know?
No, it's just...
That's tarot too, isn't it? It's called tarot. The little black balls. I love those. When you suck it on them mochis, you like...
Pause.
You get it with extra tarot? So you like the tarot? So you're like...
Well, yeah, you know, because a lot of my favourite artists had created their own tarot cards. Jodorowsky, Dali...
Lazarus, hopefully soon.
Well, you never know. I mean, this new album, Magical, has a lot of kind of inspiration and in the artwork and the music. So I started along that road.
Who was the lady in America? You used to have to call her the black lady at night.
Miss Cleo.
Miss Cleo,
Yes.
thank you. I could see you with your shaman outfit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Got the fucking little cap on.
Yeah.
That could be like we're starting a podcast, but maybe we should shoot
I
that.
could have my own little section.
Yeah. Advice by you. Wow. With like a globe.
Yeah.
Okay, next season.
For next season. I love that.
Why did you decide to focus this podcast on friendship?
Well, this is what I thought about, right? Because interviews are really boring, right? And I find the most interesting conversations are, like we said before, artists hanging out with each other, just like being ourselves and talking. Like that's interesting to me. And the friendships I've made through all these years, you know, have really shaped my life. So when some people asked me like, hey, you should start a podcast. And I was like, nah.
Talking about the music industry, same shit.
No, it's like the same old shit. Like who wants to be a part of that? But then when I started talking to some other friends about it and we created this, they're like, no, try to change the idea of what a podcast is, right? It could be both visual and something that you hear. But I just wanted people to just talk because I think the most important conversations are between artists speaking with each other. And the conversations we've had with all the guests have been so completely different, but so back to the focus of like creating things with the people around you. And I think that's a message that needs to be told, really, right? It's like if you want to change the world around you, it's so if everyone's protesting this or protesting, change the world, your world, and then the world around you will change, right? Start to project the world that you want to see and the ideas that you want out in the world. And then kind of in a magic, weird way of how this simulation works, it just starts to form in a way, right? And that was like the idea. And then I got this fucking schmuck on. They're like, hey, do you want to do it with Bill? And I was like, Jesus. I was like, this is going to be...
It's a great addition.
It's the great... Look at this. He's got a sprained ankle, which he's actually putting his foot on top of, which makes me feel like it's not so injured.
It's very injured.
No, the pain has shifted to his calf.
Yeah. The pain is, it's the other foot now.
Yeah.
Do we have workman's
He just doesn't want to come see you play later today.
No, it's fine. It's fine. My wife doesn't either.
But let me ask you, so... I've been wondering myself, like, am I being a good enough friend these days to my friends?
Is this because you retreated a little bit and started thinking a little bit more about Damian?
Yeah.
Because you said it before.
Exactly.
You've spent all this time catering to everyone and being the master planner for so many ceremonies.
Yeah, exactly. And part of that whole rehabilitation of myself is, I think, I'm trying to making sure that I'm, giving something, honest and real and powerful to the people that I really love,
care about.
And care about. I think sometimes it's hard for us to remind, to continually, offer that. And I was interested how you're feeling about that, given that
I feel the same way, especially with kids, Once you have a family and you throw in all these extra things, the time gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And like trying to also devote time to the people we've all had so many people in our lives for 30 years, 20 something years,
Yeah.
And trying to devote time to them.
Freya, my 9-year-old, said something crazy to me the other day. We were walking up the street together, holding hands, just chatting. And she said, Daddy, it feels like this year's gone so quickly. I was like, fuck, it's only May. And she's already thinking that as a 9-year-old.
As a 9-year-old, yeah.
Isn't that mad? Because, the older we get...
Time does faster.
It used to be, like, if you think about when you were a kid... The summer holidays were amazing.
It was like a year.
It felt like
a year.
Yeah.
A year.
Yeah.
It was a whole year.
Exactly.
Because we didn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
It was just like hot days, lazing around, hanging out with your friends, going to the park,
I think time is really not constant, because it's sometimes warps, goes really fast, and sometimes goes really slow, like especially parties or other things. Like I've been in, or DJ sets even, sometimes an hour and a half DJ set.
Oh my God.
Seems like an eternity. And then sometimes 8 hours.
Try doing it drinking coconut water.
Yeah, but sometimes even, I have done it, but sometimes even 8 hours goes like, we're done?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, whenever I play at Space, which is generally where I play the longest sets these days, I'm sure you as
realize
well. It goes like that.
I gotta stop now?
Yeah.
I just started cooking.
And then there's some shows when you're like, I've only played for 20 minutes.
You cannot wait to get off the stage. You're like, I swear I've played 15 songs.
What do you do in those situations? I have a game that I play
drink.
with myself. I know, it sounds weird. I have a guess the time game that I do with myself. So like, I won't look at my watch or the phone or anything. And then the moment that I start thinking about, I wonder how much longer I'm playing for, I try to guess exactly the time.
Are you one of those guys as well, like, you finish exactly on, like, every time I DJ, the last track I play is, like, to the second on time.
Exactly, I'm the same.
Yeah, like, it's gotta be.
Someone said to me, like, I was playing somewhere the other week, and they told me that if I went 1 second over, the sound would shut down.
Yeah.
Right? And I timed it to perfection. And the promoter came over and said, how the fuck did you do that? And I was like, I'm a pro.
I do this every fucking night.
Yeah.
Right? It drives me crazy when other DJs...
because you get to around the 15, 14, 13 minutes left, and you're like, okay, I know what I'm going to end with tonight, and I know exactly how long that track is.
Bridge. You go backwards.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll be playing with other people, and it's like, the time constraint, and they start to, like, play the song, and you're like, yo, there ain't time for that shit. What are you thinking right now?
Yeah.
You won't even make it to the break, brother.
There's nothing worse when you're like, when you're about to come on.
They just start another song.
And someone starts that, and they got 3 minutes left, and they're putting on a 9-minute track.
So yeah,
and you're like, oh, you motherfucker, because now you're putting me in a situation where I'm going to have to mix out your track
too early,
and I don't really want to do that. But if I don't do that, I'm only going to be playing for an hour and 45 minutes. So fuck you.
I'm playing for an hour.
It's bad sense of timing.
Yeah. Get in the game, bro.
Get in the game.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's been fun, because, friendship is friends.
Friendship is fun.
Friendship is fun as well. I love you, buddy.
I love you too, buddy.
Thank you so much, huh?
Flirting with Friendship is produced by executive producers Nikita Stanley, Jesse Rogg, Craig Pettigrew, and Seth Troxler. Seth is an EP? What is going on here? Their co-executive producer is Lee Adams. Aaron Kulik is our live production director. He's also a VFX and motion graphics supervisor. Our director of photography is Lucas Strebel. Yes, we filmed this. You can go watch it on YouTube. Which brings me to Veronica Guessa, our incredible set designer, also known as Moki Baby or Moki. Check her work out. It's really incredible. Again, watch it on YouTube. Our editor is Tyler Christie. Our sound design and original composition is by Jasper Van Dyke. Seth was our music supervisor. Wait a second. No, he's not. I'm pretty sure I was. Not sure why Seth is getting all these credits. Anyways, who else? Our camera operator is Joseph Hawtin, aka NYX. A lot of nicknames here. Our camera assistant is Jake. I don't know Jake's last name. Sorry about that, Jake. It's Jake Smith. Our production sound mixer is Joel Yule. And last but not least, big thank you to our team at Kizzy Music for all of our additional music, and to TV Store Paris for their help in our set design. That is it. I'm out of here. Bye. Yo, is this still on? If you're still listening, you either really like this show or your AirPods are somewhere in a washing machine. Either way, thanks for sticking around. That was Flirting with Friendship, and we're doing this again week after next on Tuesday and every other Tuesday after that, unless the grid collapses or Seth forgets what day it is. Once again, this was a Stratasonic production. Yes, somehow this is professional. And I'm legally obligated to tell you to follow us on all social media platforms at Flirting with Friendship. Watch the video podcast on YouTube, subscribe, leave a review, rate the show, and send it to someone else. Remember, be good to your friends. And if you can't be, well, call us and tell us why. 866-608-BFFS. Seriously, we have a phone number. Bye.